he was like, oh, yeah, we used to throw everything into the river. Old batteries, guns. I threw a shotgun in there once. It's probably still around here somewhere.
Wait, why did you throw a shotgun in the river, buddy?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. I have more questions.
I asked that question, and he was like, it's crazy stuff.
I bet it was crazy stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he's 100% Italian, too.
Oh.
Like 99.
He killed Jimmy Hoffa. Welcome, everybody, to Andre Rotz's Brain. I got a fantastic episode for you. If you can't tell already, I had my friend Connor Ford in the studio. He's a hilarious new comic. He does stand-up. He also has a podcast called It's Just Bits. We talk about him living in what I thought was Eastern Europe, but it's really just the suburbs in Illinois. He somehow found his way to play rugby. Has a ridiculous family setup that almost made me envious. This wasn't really an interview, it was just a conversation between two guys getting to know each other. So we do get off track a few times, but pretty much every story is gold, no matter where we go. So without too much more dicking around, here he is, Connor Ford. I think this is the first metal straw I've used.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
well, weird. I don't like
it. Don't use it. Nobody's making you use it. You reject high society so quickly.
It's more work. You gotta aim it to your mouth. Like that's...
My fiance has the metal straws. I'm using the metal straws, man. Especially when company comes over, they get busted out. Otherwise, I get yelled at later.
I think this is why I'm just so anti-relationship in general, especially with my friends, is because it's when they're in a relationship, when I step into their space, I also have to take part in the sacrifices that they've made in the relationship. So I'm like, oh, okay, so we're eating vegan today. Great.
I was vegan for a year, and Kylie actually fucking hated it. While I played rugby, I was a scrum half, vegan. Yeah, and I waited tables at night, so I would scrum in the morning, work tables at night, and eat a total of 1,200 calories that day. I was 132 pounds.
Jesus. What? I mean, so you were on a bad rugby team.
Yeah. No, scrums are usually small scrummies.
Yeah, no, it's I would have hoped that you would. I was hoping for more like carbs for calories for just like the long distance running.
Oh yeah, no, I ate more than 12. I ate like 3,200 calories a day, but it's vegan calories, so it's like your body doesn't digest them right.
Would you eat healthy vegan, or would you just?
No, I was in college. I ate vegan, and that was my.
What was the reason behind the vegan?
Chest pain, actually.
Chest pain.
Yeah, I had chest pain.
Your heart was breaking for all the animals that you were killing.
Yeah. Well, I just found out the other day that I had a cholesterol problem. So, and then I went vegan, and that's like an immediate cure for cholesterol issues. So that's probably why my heart was exploding.
So you found out recently, or you found out then that you had a cholesterol?
I found out recently that it was probably a cholesterol issue that caused it. Oh. But the hometown that I grew up in, because this is supposed to be backstories, right? Mm-hmm. We're doing superhero origin stories.
Yeah.
The town that I grew up in, first of all, is named Wakanda. So that's fun. Not a joke. Actually.
Which is, and I think it's, from what I know, it's the complete inverse of the comic book one. It is the whitest place on the planet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And there were 4 black people in my whole high school.
Okay.
Yeah, and my high school was 1,200 people. So just statistically, that doesn't make sense. No, and it's spelled different, too. It's spelled like a Native American tribe that we kicked out of there, took their land, and then we're like...
That's a nice reminder.
Yeah. Oh, total
just
white guilt.
Thumbing your nose. Is that white guilt or is that bragging? Is that
whatever the opposite of white guilt is.
Is that
we made a crown out of Indian feathers. So
yeah, like because I feel like, oh yeah, let's preserve their memory. It's like, yeah, but for them, the memory is that you murdered everyone.
No, they're still alive, and they would still like their land back. Yeah, it's like, no, we'll carry on their heritage. You're not.
They're doing that.
Yeah, they're doing that elsewhere.
7 people left.
Yeah, really.
So anyways, back to your Wakanda.
But I think the Indians did get us back for kicking us out because, seriously, the most birth deformities I have ever seen in my life were in that town and nowhere else. Like, there was kids just missing arms and legs, and, like, our special ed class was Yeah, no, seriously. Our special ed class was legitimately overflowing. Like, we had several in one period. It was wild.
Did they have?
Wild.
Was it where it was standard then that it was you actually had more handicap access than not?
No, we didn't even have an elevator in the school.
Oh,
yeah.
So life was tough for them.
Yeah, it was bad. The way they would do it is they didn't. If you were in a wheelchair, they didn't schedule you on the second floor. They had all the same classes on the first floor, so they're just like.
Wait, were there then classes that they were inaccessible to? Like, could they just never
they put
take
all the
an
gen
advanced
ed
science
double?
class?
No, they just put all like the gen ed double like. Lit one, there's 90 lit ones. Okay. So the 90th lit one goes up on the
So they did have to make adjustments for this.
But yeah, but the adjustments were not make sure they could get to the classroom. The adjustments were there was an elevator in the school. It fit one person, and it was constantly broken.
How does it only fit one person? Was it a dolly?
It was the size of a closet. It was literally the size of a closet.
That's not an elevator.
So you know what? Have you ever been in a mansion before?
Okay, tell me what you think an elevator is.
No. So there's different types of elevators. If you ever go to a super rich person's house, they'll have an elevator in their house.
Yeah.
The elevator in their house is tiny. It's the size of a closet.
Yeah, I'm fucking around. I know that there are smaller elevators, but that's insane that that's even an option.
I don't even know if it went up. I think they were just shoving people with handicaps in closets and just be like, fucking God, we don't have to deal with it.
They're just pretending it's a time machine. You go inside, press a button, ding, and then
they just leave gasoline out so they get high. Mm-hmm. They like come out after lit. Lit's always crazy. We keep reading Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh man, so I stopped reading in high school, and I really regret it because a lot of the books that my high school assigned were actually good books for some reason, like Vonnegut.
Dude, I can't stand Slow Down 5. I can't.
Oh, I loved that book.
It's literally, it's pages of insanity. It's so difficult to read.
I disagree, but maybe it was an easy read, and it was one of my favorite books. I read it recently.
I could not get through it.
And okay. So what didn't you like about it? Just like the description of
my English teacher was all like. So the metaphors were.
Have you read it recently though?
No.
Okay.
I read it
here's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things I actually like about reading these books, and sorry to cut you off, but the thing about the book is it's actually very funny. It's really it's like a dark comedy.
So it's the manifesto of the.
So anyway, so your English teacher assigned this for
and
what?
And then every so it'd be like read a chapter a night or whatever the fuck it was, like not very many pages, and then we had to break down each metaphor afterwards.
Well, that's horrible.
Yeah,
of course you're not gonna like that.
It's entirely metaphors. It's 110% metaphors.
Yeah, but it's
like
also you can read a book processing those metaphors as you go and just enjoying it.
It was something. It was an honors lit class, so they were just being douchebags about it.
That sucks. Just take all the enjoyment out of reading a good book. Here's a great thing, so I'm gonna make it horrible for you.
Yeah. No, I read trash.
This is why I'm glad I didn't try in high school. I didn't get burned out on good shit.
Good way to do it. The point that I wanted to get to was one of the kids who had a birth deformity. I'm not gonna say his name, I almost did. Had one hand was a full hand and the other hand was just a thumb. Like it came down in the end of just a thumb. Craziest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, just a thumb. And he would play Call of Duty. Really good. Like very good at Call of Duty. Like almost went like professional with Call of Duty.
Holy shit. Yeah, well, because I feel like, and with a lot of, you see that in general, when people have a handicap in some aspect, no matter what it is, they actually try to lean into it and try to overcome it. That makes sense. Like, no, like, fuck it. I'm just going to practice forever and just be the best. Ha ha ha, you have all 10.
Yeah.
I only need 6.
The way he used the controller, he had to hold it on his lap, and then the left thumb is left. The left thumb is the one that was just a thumb, and he had he used that on the left joystick.
Do you think he was that good only because it was that distracting to the other players what he was doing?
What the fuck?
It's like, that's a lot. You're doing a lot over there.
And since leaving Wakanda, I've seen like 2 birth deformities in my life.
So what was are there a bunch of factories around there, or what do you think? Or do you? It's a Native American curse.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
No factories, nothing like that. The one thing that I think that it might be is that we constantly ate out of the Lay's factory dumpster.
We, as in the people of Wakanda, ate out of the Lay's factory dumpster.
So
I'm picturing a line immediately.
So the Lay's factory was in Wakanda. That was like the only big factory out there.
That's immediately why the birth deformities. That's seeping into the soil and the water. All of it. The Crisco. So you're made out of Crisco.
So they would get. I learned about it my freshman year of high school because the wrestling team would go on runs around Wakanda. So we'd run for like a few miles, and within a mile range would be the dumpster that Lay's dumps all its chips into.
Okay.
They're in bags, but they're like any misprints, anything that's expired, anything like the weird chips that never make it to market, they toss them. Like I ate fucking dill Lay's, like dill-flavored Lay's, 6 years before they came out. Before they were tested on animals.
So you've looked like this since you were 12.
Yeah. I haven't. Yeah. So I figured it out. I learned about it in wrestling. And then...
I like how you're eating. You guys are dumpster diving while on wrestling practice runs?
Yeah.
That that can't feel good by the end of the day.
Oh, you're so thirsty. You're so unbelievably thirsty. Because it's a mile and a half to run there. And then we all dive into the Lay's dumpster and nobody's fucking...
These kids aren't fucking making weight. What could possibly be the problem? And the Lay's factory is right up to the...
Yeah. And then on the run back, it takes like 5 minutes longer, but you have to like at least do a slow jog the whole time. You just run with all your chips and eat as much as you can. And then when we get back, it's like a 25-minute water break. It's... Oh, yeah.
That's horrible.
And I mentioned this to a football player, and I'm like, yeah, this is this crazy thing you do. And he's like, oh, no, everybody does that. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that started in track, and now football does it, volleyball does it, all the sports do it.
It's tradition.
And then just like, I talked to somebody who's lived in Wakanda for like 40 years, and he's eating Lay's. And I'm like... That's dill-flavored Lay's, motherfucker. Where'd you get dill-flavored Lay's?
Is that one of those things where you get jumped in, like, so all that... It seems like it's only athletes, but, like, if you're cool enough but you don't play sports, they'll, like, hey, like, just come out on one of these runs. That is horrible.
I think it's just everybody in Wakanda knows about it, and every once in a while you just go there, fill up your trunk, and then you have Lay's for a while.
Yeah, that's like high school football in Texas, is you guys eating Lay's on jogs. Which is such a strange...
It was terrible. I only did... Like, I ate... maybe the reason that I only have high cholesterol and none of the other birth deformities... Because that doesn't run in my family, by the way. High cholesterol started with me, motherfucker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Then it's for sure that.
Yeah.
You're lucky that you don't only have, like, 6 fingers.
Yeah, really.
That it's just a bit of a gut and a higher cholesterol.
Yeah.
What is it, LDL?
Yeah. Whatever the bad one is. I got the numbers around here somewhere. I'll read them off on air.
So you had no idea you were vegan, and that was, you had the heart pain in college.
I had heart pain from when I was like 70. So I had chest pain until...
You didn't tell your parents?
I told my parents.
And they were like, oh, but your parents are Polish, so they were like, that. Yeah, get used to that.
Swedish,
it's called
Polish,
heartbreak.
Other stuff.
We're used to that.
It's not enough vodka in your diet. No, I told them, and they were just like, probably heartburn. And I mean, a reasonable assumption. I was fucking 17. Nobody's going to be like, you have high cholesterol and fit, in good shape.
They're like, you're eating Lay's on your jogs. It's probably heartburns. It's not high cholesterol. It's heartburn.
For real. They just didn't care. No, well, I ate healthy, but my healthy is egg whites, chicken, red meats, like literally just a carnivore's fucking diet.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you're gonna look healthy, but your fucking veins are struggling to get through, really having a tough time. And then in college, I found beer, and the chest pains just got like infinitely worse because beer is high in carbs, and that fucks my cholesterol too. So I went vegan, and just like literally a week after going vegan, completely got rid of it, and I started losing weight. And then a year after being vegan, I was down. I continued losing weight the entire year. I was down to like no weight, and I was just finally like, I gotta start eating meat again.
Yeah. It's the thing is you get to where you want to go, but you don't realize it, and then you wake up when you're like, oh, I've gone too far.
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, there's no muscle mass here.
Yeah, that was I had a similar. So my family has really high cholesterol, and it's also what my uncle found out. Was we have a genetic deformity in our aorta where it's like bent. Yeah. So like there's a bunch of like we had early deaths and things like that in my family. Mm-hmm. So I freaked out about that in like the 7th grade when they told me about my great uncle who died at 40, and they were like, because everyone was talking about he was like the picture of perfect health, and he was like a ballet teacher or something like that. Wow. And I've always, as I've gotten older, I've suspected that he was like steady drinking and pounding cigarettes just when no one was around, because that's how my family is.
And then also, if you eat a high meat diet like America does.
This is Chilean.
Oh, Chilean.
Remember, brown person.
Are you first generation? Were you?
Yeah. Were
you the anchor kid?
I'm the, I guess, anchor baby. Both my parents moved here for other reasons and sort of met in college through one of my uncles.
Okay.
So, yeah, first generation. They told me about my Uncle Tito and dying at 40 or whatever, and
his name was Tito.
Yeah, Tio Tito.
Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue in Spanish, at least.
It also means vodka.
They didn't know that back then.
I think Tito's has been around that long.
I think his thing was whiskey. For some reason, the Latin side of my family drinks whiskey. Even the women will drink whiskey.
This is a whiskey household too. We're big into whiskey. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey is this house's brand.
Oh, nice.
It's like it's a sugary whiskey. I'll admit it's a little bitchier, but you can drink it straight out of a glass with ice.
I can tell from the 5 o'clock somewhere shirt you're wearing.
Jimmy Buffett.
That was
yeah. I am a parrot head. Here we are. God no.
So yeah, I went vegetarian in the 7th grade for about a month because I freaked out about and I also I cut out eggs for 20 years pretty much after that. And I started eating them maybe about a year or two ago when I really started getting serious about comedy and my budget started plummeting for life. Isn't it fucked up to spend all this time when you have that in the back of your head, just the high cholesterol? There's a little bit of extra mortality in what you do.
I changed my diet and it went down pretty quick. Like, honestly, especially since I went vegan and it completely went away. Yeah. And then I got the tests and they were like, dude, your cholesterol's fucked. And I was like, I haven't exercised. I've just been drinking beer the entirety of quarantine. And then I have a fucking hilarious picture I got to show you at some point. It's a picture of...
I'm a true blue Aussie, and I love to listen to It's Just Bits, a show that I'm not a part of, because those are a couple of Yanks that are on that show. But me... I'm Larry Dingo, which is short for Larrigandrongo, and my deaf partner here,
Wallaby.
And that's possibly his name. We've been calling him Wallaby because it's mostly what he says. Are you taking a long walk to the bottle-o wearing your thongs? You should be listening to It's Just Bits.
G'day, cunts. Check us out on our Linktree, linkter.e. Can you do letters in Australian? L-I-N-K.
L-I-N-K. T-R. A dot, which maybe, do we call it a bloody full stop, mate? A-E / It's Just Bits, which I can't, that other guy can't say it. Larrigandrongo.
Me when I was vegan, and then me when I got the wake-up call about my cholesterol, just fucking fat as shit. I think I had a hat covering my dick, and that's all I'm wearing.
All right.
Yeah, and it's a side profile. It's really funny. It looks like a Terry Crews nude that he would have up in one of his fucking comedies.
You're using the hat from like the Monopoly game or something like that.
That hat.
Oh, good. That's generous.
Yeah, no. You gotta lie.
Yeah. That's all show business is lying.
I have a hat with a ruler next to the camera, or way in the background, I guess it would be.
Yeah, right. You can control how big the sensor is. You can.
Yeah, the sensor could be any size.
So how did you get exposed to rugby in the first place? Because that's a weird thing here in the States.
Yeah, I was a wrestler, and then when I went into college, I went to Lewis University, so it's like kind of a bitchier college. They don't.
That's
have
a liberal arts college, right?
Yeah, it's mostly for nursing. Nursing is how they pay their bills, and then liberal arts is how they extort money from people.
Were you the only guy? Is that sexist to ask?
No, it was like 60-40 or something like that. Yeah, the nursing program was like all that 60. There were some girls in different programs like business and other stuff like that, but
right,
a lot more males in that side. Just like
you can't just be a nursing college because then that'll drop you down. You have to have all of the academic specialties, and then just be like, oh, but we're really good at nursing.
Yeah, exactly. I went there as a wrestler, and all their sports we were D1 in volleyball, and then that was the only sport we were good at. And there was baseball. I don't like baseball; it's too fucking boring. And then there was a few other sports, but there was rugby, and I went out to try out for the rugby team, and it was like a lot of fun. I was a big runner.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's the scrum half.
Yeah, exactly. So I was already running 3 miles a day anyways. And then when I started in rugby, we also were alcoholics. So it was like, this is great. I
can run and drink.
Yeah, getting shit-face hammered.
Yeah, and then when I wake up hammered still, I can run. And that both makes me feel better, and it's, quote, training.
Where did you play rugby?
So I started in Chile when I moved down there in high school, because I played 1 year of football here.
Fuck football,
and kind of, but I think if I'd have had more exposure to it before, it would have been fun.
I mean for CTE, not for...
Yeah, but I was gonna get that anyways, just based on the concussions I've had outside of contact sports. And then I got a ton in rugby. It's like, even though rugby is safe for concussions, I managed to play in a very unsafe manner.
Well, it's the minor hits that actually give you CTE. It's not the ones that give you concussions. Yeah,
but I was also second row, and I used my head as a battering ram in a lot of scrums.
Yeah, that's illegal. You can't fucking do that.
I never got yellow carded. So.
Dude, we had a guy jump on top of a scrum. So a scrum was...
That's not a thing.
No, he jumped on the scrum, and the ref immediately immediately fucking yellow carded him. And he was like, "What, dude? I just jumped on the scrum." And we're like,
"Yes, that's exactly." I don't understand what you're confused about.
We had a guy who joined up in rugby, and he threw up every time at a social. So one night we placed bets on when he was going to throw up. But we didn't place a limit on how people could influence that bet going down.
Oh, wonderful!
So one of my friends was he bet that he was going to throw up before 5. And it was 4:58. So he was pouring shots into him. At around 4:59, he put his finger down the other guy's throat, who was blackout drunk. That guy still doesn't throw up at 5:01. He threw up just to make him lose the bet.
He had to have money on himself.
He did not.
That's some dirty pool. He had an inside tip. Shit, that was I've wondered. I bet I was predictable with some of that stuff. I had a pretty bad drinking problem for most of my life. So that was.
When did you start drinking?
Officially probably around 12.
God damn!
I fucked around with it.
Give you a drinking problem. That's how you get them.
Yeah, I played around with it a little earlier than that. When I was 7, I stole a bottle of champagne from my dad's New Year's Eve party.
It's not even drinking.
and it was I shared it with me. It was the other 7-year-olds. We were in a basement playing dodgeball and just completely out of our minds, breaking everything.
What the fuck? Jesus Christ.
But then I took a break for a little bit. Yeah, 12 was
a break from 7 to 12. This is good origin story.
Oh no, I had some beer. I had some Heinekens in there. I got convinced some of my mom's boyfriend, or really one of them, to give me some Heinekens every once in a while when he was playing
Heineken's
softball.
Not real beer. So.
Yeah, no, it doesn't count if it tastes like piss.
So all beer.
Well, it's almost a good thing, because he was what he was trying to do was at least give me a better palate, or make it be like, ooh, I don't like the taste of that. Why would you drink?
I started drinking when I was 18 years old. I waited. Oh. That's late. Everybody, my fiance started when she was 14. No, I started drinking when I was 18 years old. First time I drank, I got absolutely blacked the fuck out drunk. And my dad wakes me up in the morning. Like, I think I had like 8 beers, but your first time
Yeah, no
drinking.
wonder. Yeah, because you're drinking with other people that have been drinking since they were 14.
Yeah.
And they're 8 beers deep, like kind of getting a buzz.
And I am blackout drunk. Yeah. My dad wakes me up in the morning, and I wake up, and my dad is sitting on the end of the bed, and I talk to him, and we're just chatting back and forth, because my dad lived down the street from my mom after they got divorced, like literally walking distance from each other.
Oh, nice. That's
no, not nice at all.
That almost seems constructive, but no?
No. Toxic to say the best.
Yeah, don't be in eyesight when you can see who's
Throwing
coming
distance.
and going from.
Yeah. My mom had to drive by my dad's house all the time and be like, what the fuck is your dad doing right now? And I'm like, why are you calling me? I don't know.
You married, you chose him. I had no choice in this.
No, so she moved out of my childhood home down the street with another man.
This is why you're in comedy.
Yeah. The white trashiest neighborhood, like literally one step up from the trailer park. Anyways, I'm lying down in bed. I've just woken up from my first night of drinking, blackout drunk, and I'm talking to my dad, and I'm talking to my dad for a good 5 minutes before I realized that I pissed the bed last night. Yeah, talking to him for a good long while.
Did he know?
He did not know. He was sitting on the corner of the bed.
I bet he could probably smell it.
Well, that's the thing, because if you drink enough,
right.
your pee is water.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking knows. So like, I couldn't smell a thing. I did the test that you have to do when you don't know if something smells. Leave the room, get acclimated to the smell outside of the room, and come back inside.
Right.
Still couldn't smell anything. So I think it was like all water pee. But my dad, at one point in the conversation, after I realized that I had pissed the bed, he says, "Okay, you still on to go tubing today?" And I'm like, "What?"
Nice. He's training you for college.
Yeah, exactly.
You're hungover. You're 18 and hungover. Let's go
for
tubing.
The first time. Hungover for the first time ever.
With your dad a frat kid? Like...
He didn't know I had drank it the night before. So we
beautiful.
go. So my dad gets up and does something. I put the sheets in the wash. We go tubing, and I figured out the best cure for a hangover is to go tubing.
Yeah.
Because you have 2 choices. Throw it all up or be sober now. You can't end tubing still hungover. It's just fucking impossible. How cold the water is, you just absolutely get whipped around on a boat.
Yeah.
Highly would recommend. Or cocaine in a jet ski, also a good way.
I could see that both just adrenaline, cold water. That was the great thing about summers in Chile, is because everything, any of the bodies of water there were still freezing cold in the summer, which sounds shitty, but if you're drinking and especially there, the national like liquor is pisco, which is just a really low quality liquor, and it fucks your stomach up in your system. So like just a quick dip in a really cold lake went along, and I learned that way too young.
12 was it? 12?
No, that one I learned that at probably 15. I learned that at 15.
See, it took me till 18, and I learned it early in my drinking career too. First day.
Yeah. My mom caught me the first time I got truly hammered. I think I was 13.
Jesus.
But the funny so I had gone to a hookah bar that allowed underage kids to bring their own booze and drink there. and I had gotten pretty drunk on like Bud Light or something.
What's the drinking age in Chile?
So actually this was Texas. Sorry, I'm bouncing around. So 13, I'm still in the United States. I left home at 16 or 15 and a half, I think.
Okay.
Something like that. December of 2000, however old that makes me.
56, I think.
So there's a place in Houston. There was a hookah bar that let people drink underage. Some girl gave me this giant thing of Dr. Pepper that was mixed with rum, but I didn't know the strength of all of these things, so I drank the whole thing and I was puking and everything like that. And so my friends leave me at my place, and I'm like, I got this. And I tried to get into the back door, and I couldn't. So I was like, I'm going to try to sleep this, take a 15-minute nap, and wake up and try again. And I was being woken up by my mom, who is getting home from her own party at 4 o'clock in the morning, hammered. And so she gets me up and she helps me into the house. And at that point, I start getting sick again. And I run to the bathroom and start puking. And then she like came and put a pillow under my knees. So that it was because it was a tile floor. And
nice of her.
Yeah. And then the next day, I had to write a paper on on the long-term effects of alcohol, which, by the way, the backdrop of all of this is she also had a ridiculous drinking problem. I was drinking her booze most of the time.
The punishment was a paper?
I had to write a paper on the long-term.
Is she a teacher? She sounds like a teacher.
I don't. I think it was probably because she was like, what am I going to do? She probably knew that she was going to be hypocritical if she actually got mad at me. So she was like, maybe if I can just get this kid to teach himself that it's not a good thing. She's like, I'm not a good example.
Yeah.
He's not going to listen to me.
Not a bad way to do it.
Maybe he'll listen to the Encyclopedia Britannica in 1989.
Oh my God, encyclopedia research.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got it. I bought a used one when I was a kid.
A used set or a used one?
Set.
Okay, I was going to say.
No. That would be, I bought the J's from 1989.
Yeah, like, I had an encyclopedia when I was young, but because I was very poor, not because the age determined it.
Most of the people I've known that had the encyclopedias were people that grew up without a lot of money because it was so easy to get a cheap set just a few years out of date, but it was like this sign that like, oh, you just bought your kid a future, essentially.
Yeah.
like
you can research
the
anything.
Possibilities are endless.
Exactly. Yeah. We had that, and we had at the same time I got the encyclopedia, the big ass one. It was like literally like a fucking arms ring. The same week we got a Windows XP 95, whatever the fuck computer. Yeah, in the same time, and I'm like,
and your choices, sir, were made for you.
These are equally valuable to me. Didn't even have internet. Didn't have Word. Didn't have anything. We just had a computer.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, why? It's so fucking dumb.
It's so that you can put all your thoughts down for all the things. Oh. Wait, but didn't you have the green screen thing? It didn't.
No. It was.
Was it a?
It
didn't run
Vista?
DOS?
No. It was 96, 98.
Okay.
I mean, it might have been Windows 98.
How did it not have any like text editor or something?
Well, I think you had like literally just the shitty text one. It was the only one you had.
That's worse. It's worse to get your kid a computer that doesn't work.
Oh, that was for my dad to do like his taxes on it shit. And I was like, you don't have a tax application on here. And he's like, I'll figure it out.
You get it for the calculator?
Like, don't fucking
just get a calculator.
He never used it, just so we're clear. He just bought it and had no fucking idea what to do with it. This was also within the same month that my dad gave me a massive concussion he was driving golf balls in the backyard, and I was playing on the trampoline, and he shanked one and fucking right in the temple.
Oh,
just like a sack of potatoes that went down.
That's great.
There was some fuzzy memories.
Well,
after that.
The thing is, it's so good because when the sentence that starts, "My dad gave me a concussion," can go so many ways.
I think that's the best one.
That's the best way because at least you were playing. It was like a positive thing up until then.
It was father-son bonding up until then. He's like, "Watch my ball, son." Like, yay! And then I found the ball. It was the fucking side of my head.
Yeah. It's like I have is it here under the skin or is that just a knot?
Oh no, these are just, I don't know. These are more genetic fucking deformities that I just picked up by drinking the water in Wakanda.
So, did you spend any time in Eastern Europe? What I feel like.
Do I know any Nazis? Did I have a twin that
no? For some
never
reason
was fed and for some reason didn't survive?
I have a friend who's Ukrainian and also another friend who's obsessed with Chernobyl. And your description of Wakanda is very similar to their descriptions of their experiences in Eastern Europe.
Oh, here, I got a few more for you. So there's a power plant in... not in Wakanda. But if you go straight towards Lake Michigan from Wakanda, you run into Kenosha or something like that. There's a power plant in Kenosha. everybody who is in Wakanda, when they get sick of the lake in Wakanda, swimming in that one, they go out to Lake Michigan. So the straight shot from Wakanda to Lake Michigan takes you right next to that power plant. So all of my parents and their parents and so forth back, their favorite thing was to swim in the water near the power plant because it's warm. The water in the power plant is the best fishing because it's warm. It's the runoff from the power plant is warm.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not the best fishing. That means that it's not the best fishing, though, guys.
The fish are inedible.
Yeah,
we caught a lot of
trout. Were they bigger?
They were bigger. They were big fish. Great swimming because it's like the only warm area. Oh, I swam in it all the time, by the way.
That's not good.
Oh, I don't do it anymore now that I can make decisions for myself. And then I swear to God, there was heroin in the water at Wakanda because in my graduating class of 200 people, my senior class was 200 people. We had a total class of my total high school was 1,200 people, and my graduating class was just 200. There were 8 heroin deaths that I know of.
It's a high ratio.
That is, the ratio does not add up, if we're being honest.
Well, it kind of does, because that does seem like a sad place, and that there would not be. I mean, I was going to comment on that just driving into here, which isn't even as bad as Wakanda, but I haven't driven this far into the suburbs with this much daylight in a long time, and I had forgotten just how sad I felt by it.
I like this area. Fuck you. I'll diss my home.
This is actually right around where you live is very nice, but that's also because you guys, they have big houses by the street to show off.
Yeah. We were called river rats because we grew up on the Fox River, which is the most polluted river in Illinois, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. One of my friends...
It's the Cleveland of Illinois.
Oh, it's bad. One of my friends grew up on the river, and his grandpa owned the house his dad owns, and he was supposed to own it, but he died of a heroin overdose, so he broke the cycle.
I love that. The grandpa died of a heroin overdose?
No. The grandpa... No. That'd be awesome. The grandpa passed it down to his son.
Okay.
And then his dad was supposed to pass it down to him, but the son died of a heroin overdose, so never made it there.
That's how nepotism goes, though.
Yeah.
It's going to... It thins out the talent pool.
They bought the house for $250,000. It's currently worth $40,000 because every year it floods. It's built in a swamp. It's like Shrek's house. It's built in a fucking swamp.
Were they? I mean,
were
they swamp people? Like, were they from Louisiana? They're like, we want to make it like home.
No, they bought land on a peninsula that's slowly degrading.
Okay.
Yeah, and so now it floods like. It used to just flood like a few inches, and now it floods like 2 full feet.
How fucking shitty is that? Because
sucks.
That starts off kind of as the American dream, if you think about it.
You buy a house on the water.
You buy a house on a fucking peninsula? Like, that's the one. That sentence sounds beautiful. I could die right then, but then you're bailing out water like a canoe.
Oh, yeah. Their basement is concrete for a reason. They do not have carpet.
Well, that's good. You could turn it into a sex dungeon. So that's when things go wrong.
No, because they don't make handcuffs with people for one arm. It doesn't work. No, so his grandpa was telling stories. He's got millions of stories about the river, because the river is like literally the most polluted river in Illinois. You swim in it and you could automatically assume you're going to get cold. Like, we call it a cold, but it's radiation poisoning or fucking something.
Yeah.
And we were like, was it always like this? And he's like, no, it used to be a really nice river, real clear. But people used to pollute in it all the time. I don't get it. I never did it. And then an hour later in the same conversation, he was like, oh, yeah, we used to throw everything into the river. Old batteries, guns. I threw a shotgun in there once. It's probably still around here somewhere.
Wait, why did you throw a shotgun in the river, buddy?
Yeah.
Tell me more about that. I have more questions.
I asked that question, and he was like, it's crazy stuff. Yeah.
I bet it was crazy stuff.
Yeah. Oh, he's 100% Italian, too.
Oh.
Like 99...
He killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Probably.
He 100% killed Jimmy Hoffa.
Absolutely, because if we're killing Jimmy Hoffa, you get a house on the river.
You get a house on the peninsula.
Yeah, exactly. One that fucking floods. By the way, one of the heroin overdoses was on the front lawn of somebody I dated for a while. So not while I was dating her, but shortly after after the heroin overdose, she started dating me. So it was on her mind.
Yeah.
It was
you
a short
were
relationship.
her rock bottom.
No. I think I was her rebound. I think I was the beginning of her upswing because I'm
going to date good boys now.
She was a smoke show, super hot. She started dating me, dated me for about 3 months, and one of aside my current fiance and a few other people, one of the hottest people I've ever had the opportunity to have sex with, but I did not have sex with her because I didn't want to ruin the relationship. And then she left me because I wouldn't have sex with her.
Yeah. That'll do it. You can't not fuck a hot girl.
It was like the second person that I had like an even remotely serious dating thing with.
Yeah.
And the first one, the second we fucked, the relationship ended. Like we had sex and then she was like, okay, bye. Yeah. And I'm like, so now I have like a really hot chick, and I'm like, I want to keep this around. So I was like, well, if I can learn from my previous experience, it's because we fucked, but it was not. Yeah, no, that one hurts today.
I could see that. I had that happened to me in law school, actually, because I started dating.
Did you go to law school?
I failed out of law school twice.
Okay.
So I don't know if I went to law school. I did.
How long did it take you to fail out?
Well, 2 years.
Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, you definitely went to law school.
Well, no, it was 1 year. It was 1 year each.
Why didn't you just change majors? You know you could do that, right?
No, not in law school.
Oh, this is postgraduate education.
Yeah, into law school.
Oh,
into the official thing. I was trying.
It's hard, right?
Still, yes. Well, especially when you're 27 years old and you ask one of your buddies, "How do you write an outline?" I never had ever tried in school before, and for some reason I was like, I'm going to try school.
I'm going to try and be... What did you go to undergrad for?
Political science and journalism, which are both just show up fucking things, and then even then with
journalism broadcasting.
Yeah.
I feel it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Barely have a degree. But anyways, you failed out of law school.
No, but I had a similar thing where I had a friend, we were dating, but she was sort of...
It's not a friend, just saying that.
Well, right. She had started off a friend, and I had a relationship go south, and then she and I started hooking up. Not really. We hooked up once, but then it became more of an emotional thing. And I would draw back from having sex because she was way out of my league, and I knew I was going to disappoint her and didn't want that to throw everything off, and didn't realize that D, not giving her the D,
doing all of that thing,
was going to make her be like, hey, for spring break, I'm going to go to Montana and hang out with this guy that used to fuck the shit out of me for a while.
Ooh, that is self-sabotage, buddy.
Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I earned that.
That shit happens, man. That absolutely happens.
So you were not fucking this girl?
No, I did not. I literally, like a smoke show. We would like she would blow me. I'd eat her pussy, and then she'd be like, "Please fuck me," and I'd be like, "No." The dumbest.
How old were you?
The biggest, like 17.
Okay, that makes me.
It was after like I lost my virginity. Then that girl broke up with me, and then a few months later, I found a super hot chick, and it was just like it did not. I was like, well, I lost the last. I just did bad math. That's all.
You did right. You don't have enough experience
exactly
at that point because you're like, I'm gonna just do the opposite of what I did the last time.
Nuance was not a part of my fucking vocabulary, man. Absolutely not.
But that's how we end up. Like that's how you end up having a goth phase and shit. You're like, I tried the preppy thing and it didn't work. Fuck that. It's like
no, just dial it back. So you did something at 10 and then you tried something at 0 and you're like, nothing works. How about you try 5, buddy?
Yeah, 10-year-olds don't wear plaid yet. Just come on, dial it back with the sweaters, buddy.
Another fun fact about my origin story: I didn't wear pants until I turned. I think until I got into high school, I never wore pants.
So you were wearing shorts, or you weren't wearing
shorts or sweatpants?
Okay,
all I would wear.
Do you have like a giant piece as a kid? Like what was it constrained?
I've always had a big ass
for
my size. Yeah. For like a child, parents don't know how to deal with a kid with a badonka dog. Yeah. So they're like, I never got the right size clothes, but sweatpants always fit phenomenally, and they're always comfortable.
Yeah.
Until I got mercilessly bullied on the bus for always fucking wearing sweatpants. Because the crazy thing about it was everybody was like, he wears sweatpants to hide his boner. And I'm like, that's the one thing you can't hide a boner. You guys' information is false.
Yeah, you were so ignorant in this. You're hiding a boner. That's what I think. Gracias, damas y caballeros. Thank you for listening to Andre Ross's Brain. Please tell your friends. It's on Spotify. Tell your loved ones. It's on iTunes. Give us a like and a follow. We will love you forever. And now, back to the show.
But I was the only kid who wore sweatpants. And then I didn't start dressing good after that, but I started wearing jeans.
Okay.
First step in the right direction.
Yeah, you went from sweatpants to Kurt Cobain or something like that.
Yeah. We also would go, so when my best friend is the guy who was supposed to inherit the house, but died of an overdose.
Right.
And his
Your best friend died.
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
I think he's over there.
Okay.
The weed seeds that grow the weed plants I have are from him. So it's badass.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a legacy. So we would go carp hunting. Do you know what carp hunting is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
But not with a bow and arrow, with a net. With a net and a pitchfork is the
Okay.
way you do it. So
Like the South?
like the South, yeah. But whenever his house would flood, his dad would get furious, and we would be super happy because we'd run around with like a giant fishing net and a pitchfork and go catch a bunch of fucking carp. And then we would always try and cook them, but it never went fucking well. But we would also always see his neighbors peer out the window at us, at like 14 years old, the both of us, literally stabbing carps with like a devil-looking pitchfork in
That's
shorts
amazing.
and a t-shirt, and they'd be like, Jesus Christ.
And I'm sure you were kind of killing more than your ration.
No, yeah. Well, because we're fucking dumb, and they're an invasive species in our area, Asian
okay.
carp. You're supposed to, if you catch them, you're supposed to kill them. So we just did our part.
Man, they're blaming everything on the Asians.
I think that's just the name for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would do that, and then we would always try and cook them, and they were always fucking awful. So we'd catch like 40, I'd say, and they're big. They're like 10, 15 pounds a piece. So we'd catch 40, try and cook the first one, and then we just toss the rest. Like literally 150 pounds worth of fish.
Oh, that's brutal.
Just right in the garbage.
That's the funny story. I have a very parallel story to that, but with much smaller fish. And he didn't die, but he kind of did.
What happened?
So my child, I've never really had like big groups of friends, but like my childhood friend growing up is this kid named I met when I lived in Atlanta when I was like 6, I think, or 7. I did a 1-year stint at a private school there, which did not go well.
That's why it's only 1 year stint.
Yes, they asked me to not come back. I got into many arguments with teachers and other peers.
Was it a Catholic school?
It was the Atlanta International School.
Huh.
It was I think supposed to be more like multicultural because the public school I was in, I was the only brown kid. Everyone was like white or black, and it was like no one was fucking with me. They weren't even fucking with me to fuck with me. And we would go fishing in these creeks and in kind of the outskirts of Atlanta and stuff like that. There's creeks everywhere.
Yeah, catch crawfish.
Yeah, you crawfish and like little perch
fishing?
and stuff like that. Just like do like little do the cliche ball of dough on a hook and catch some perch and shit like that. And then he did not die of a heroin overdose. He got really religious when we were in high school and like recommitted himself to the Catholic Church and then got married when he was 19 to a 25-year-old. And I remember being like, I was like, I think you're dead to me. I don't understand any of this. He tried to convert me too, which was like that was the death knell. He was like, well, your path is wrong. And I was like, I knew it was, but
let me figure it out, buddy.
Yeah, like I know it's not good to drink every day, but also not from you.
You fucked up a different way.
Yeah.
Dude. I have a friend. I have 2 different friends. One of them is a born again Christian, but he's super cool about it. And then I have a friend who is a born again flat earther and is not chill about it at all.
Oh well, yeah, that's also newer. Flat Earth is a much newer thing.
Yeah, he's flat earth. He's lizard people. He's the whole fucking nine. And I'm just like, I can't hang out with the fucking guy anymore.
Are you just waiting it to subside, or
if it subsides, that'd be nice. But he took a hero's dose of mushroom one day, and he has not come back.
Oh no!
Yeah, 8 grams.
Shit.
Or 8 ounces? I don't. Very different. I know they're very different.
Yes, that's a very.
An ounce is a normal dose, right?
I take. What did I take? I took an 1/8 the other day.
Okay, an 1/8 is a normal dose. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So he took an ounce then. 8/8.
Wow, that's too much.
That's a hero's dose, is what it's called.
Yeah.
That's what they think, that the Epic of Gilgamesh was written on that much mushrooms.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I know, right? Because back in the day when you were foraging for food, you find an edible mushroom, you don't eat one and then leave. You eat a fuck ton of those things.
Yeah.
You eat all the ones you could find.
Might not find these for a while.
Yeah, I'm going to eat this entire field and then come back.
Holy shit, just imagine that. That's got to be such a strange place that we already have so much coaching around hallucinogens, and it's still the experience it is for a person that was expecting to
just have a meal,
like sort of have a meal, take a nap, maybe fuck a little bit, and like sing a song.
They just came out with clothes the other day. Yeah. Like they just dropped clothes a few years ago. And they're like, wow, these things are wild. Who thought of this?
Yeah.
And then he comes up with the idea of stories.
Well, the fucking, in a way, that theory of human intelligence evolving with
the Stoned Ape theory.
The Stoned Ape theory probably makes the most sense to me, because it's like those creative leaps are made. So many creative leaps are made on hallucinogens. It's like, yeah. So one dude was just like, bang rocks, fucking sparks. You know, like
I'm more inclined to believe genetic deformity is the reason that it came out. Just because of my personal experience that I've watched generation to generation. I've seen how evolution affects things.
Right,
so
that's true. But normally, that kind of those
this is accelerated
deformities
evolution.
were very rapid.
Oh no, these ones are bad. They didn't have those back in the day, but I've seen accelerated forms of evolution happen in my lifetime.
Oh right.
So. I don't know.
Yeah, like asses.
For example, my parents don't have asses. I have an ass. It's weird. Anyways, gerbil genocide. Hamster genocide. My mistake. So at my house, we got 2 hamsters. This is when my mom was living in the house that my dad owned instead of him paying child support with her new boyfriend. And his kids would come over there. My step siblings now, and they had a hamster, and my sister had a hamster. So they were like, and they didn't want to like keep having to ferry it back and forth, and all this pain in the ass. So they just left both hamsters in one cage at my house, and it was a boy and a girl hamster. So soon there were many hamsters.
Right.
And unlike normally what happens, where
I like how the hamsters were getting along better than your parents.
Yeah, really. The hamster. Well, they were in a cage, so you can't get a hamster. Hamsters can't get divorces.
That's true.
They don't have a choice. And I mean, lock 2 things in a cage together of the opposite sex. Eventually, they're gonna fuck.
Oh, there's hope.
Yeah, there's hope. But yeah, so they fuck and then they breed, and after like a short amount of time, like 3-4 months, we have 9 different cages, all with like. Hamsters on hamsters on hamsters on hamsters.
How many total do you think it was?
Like 30 plus hamsters. So just a factory worth of hamsters.
Yeah.
Because we didn't you can't neuter a hamster, and nobody wants to like fill a sock full of baby hamsters and throw it in a river or whatever the fuck. Yeah, that's dark. Is that what happened to yours?
All right, keep going.
So it was like we had to move them out to the heated garage. So we had a heated garage. Oh yeah, by the way, I was rich. I was born rich, grew up until I was 4 years old. My family was like $350K plus income a year household. And then my parents got divorced. My mom stopped working, and all my dad's work money went to pay her house and her child support. So we went from $350,000 a year to like 20 in zero fucking time. Literally in a year. It was wild. I was in a private preschool, like Montessori private education preschool, $20,000 a semester to go there, and it was not a financial
your
burden.
diction's too good. I suspected something.
Dude, public school almost killed me. Public school was insane for me. Glad I discovered reading. I knew I didn't have to learn a new thing until freshman year of high school because I had already learned everything by 4. I was caught all the way up to 8th grade. I remember a time in a science class in 8th grade, I was like, I looked up because every once in a while I'd look up from my book to pay attention to what the science teacher was doing. I was like, oh shit, I don't know this.
Yeah.
And it was like an actual revelation.
I had the exact same experience, actually. Because it was like I was a straight A student until I hit freshman or sophomore year, really. Mm-hmm. And it was, my mom was like, what's going on? And everything. I was like, I literally am not doing anything different. Just shit's now. This is just not something that I have covered before. Like I was doing this on my, I was fucking like looking, I got myself a microscope and was like looking at rocks for no reason.
Why?
This is a nerd.
That's fair.
I tucked in my shirt and wore socks with my Tevas.
I
liked it.
By choice.
By choice.
Oh my God.
Well, mostly insecurity. I don't know if that's choice.
No, that's fair.
Okay, so you
all
have
these
30 plus hamsters
like
in
6
several
separate cages full of hamsters, and we also have 3 cats. You're seeing where this is going. The story's name is Hamster Genocide. We had 3 cats. One was a Siamese cat with its front claws declawed that lived like 20 years. Invincible fucking cat. The other 2 were matching Maine Coons that we got like the day before we got poor. Mm-hmm. We got 2 matching Maine Coons. It's
how you get poor, is you buy expensive cats.
Yeah. No, it was the divorce that really did it.
All right.
But they both got hit by a car within like a year. Yeah, and we were just waiting. We were waiting for the Siamese cat to be like, okay, well, when's it going to get hit by a car? Because they were all indoor-outdoor cats, so they had their free reign if they wanted to choose to get hit by a car. They were going to get hit by a car, but it just never happened. The Siamese cat lived forever. But so we leave all these hamsters.
Siamese cat knows a bad driver when he sees one.
Yeah, exactly.
I can predict this.
It didn't have its front clawed. It didn't have its front claws, so we would run up trees to escape fights with raccoons, and it would run with no front claws. It was like literally watching Batman climb up the side of a building with a rope thing, but just a cat climbing.
It's so weird to think about it climbing up with its hind legs.
It was walking. It was crazy.
That is not. That's it was. My brain is not processing this.
It was weird to see. It had to get like a running start. Like it couldn't get it from the ground.
I would have loved to have seen the cat practicing.
Just get parkour. And the Maine Coons would always get into fights with raccoons, and whenever you pet them, it was like petting a fucking Vin Diesel. It was like they were jacked and covered in scars. It was like
Vin Diesel isn't actually tough, right? He is an actor, and he was before then a breakdancer. So he's not.
So you know how in every action movie he takes off his shirt and his back is covered in scars?
Yeah, that
was my cats. Okay. That was my cats. It was like bumpy and gross to pet these fucking cats, but they're beautiful looking cats. And one day so every night when the hamsters were sleeping in the garage, we would lock the garage door, and there was a doggy door in the back that we would lock too. One day we forgot to lock the doggy door, and our indoor-outdoor cats went into the garage and genocided like in 30 plus
all of them?
Every single one. There were no survivors. The bloodiest scene, insane. Got into every single cage, like methodically. Like, the cat slept for 2 days after this. It was a long night.
So they ate.
And they ate a good portion and then just
kept
killed
killing.
some. Yeah, we don't know which cats did it because all the cats were clean afterwards, assuming that they licked the blood clean afterwards.
Right.
But my sister. So my sister had actually somehow we figured out that she was the one that did not lock the door.
Oh
so
no, this is trauma for her because there's blame.
As punishment, she was made to clean the entire thing alone.
That's not good. That's not constructive.
Yeah, it was bad. I didn't dole out the punishment. I don't agree with it. But that was the punishment.
I disagree with all of your parents' decisions after a certain period period.
Oh, yeah, they made a bad decision. My mom's a hoarder. That's a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have so I moved in with my dad after a while because I didn't have a bedroom because it was slowly filling with things. I was just like, we're just going to go before this finishes and gets awkward.
Could you at least buy shit that I want in my room?
Oh, no,
like, just be like an air freshener, a TV.
The rest of the house was full, and she was just like, can I put this? She wouldn't ask after a certain point. There was just stuff in my room when I got home. And I'm like, where the fuck am I? I'm going to my dad's house. Fuck this.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's nice that he gave you an out down the street.
Walking distance. It's a walking distance out. And I took care of the house at my dad's house. That was fucking awesome. I ran my own house. We threw parties there. Once I started drinking, we threw parties there all the time. That was a lot of fun. I woke up to one morning after a party. The floor, like, it was a party on a Tuesday night, so I didn't expect like a turnout. I expected it was gonna be like nobody doing anything. I turned in a little bit early because some of my friends were there, and I'm like, you guys are always here, just fucking do what I normally do. And I wake up in the morning and the house is fucking destroyed. Like, mud, the whole house was just mud. It was hardwood floors, but like all mud throughout the entire fucking house. And in the backyard, they had destroyed all my dad's lawn furniture, like kicking the legs out from under it. They threw a propane tank at a tree trying to make it explode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks that it didn't.
These are all people who have gone through the same fucking birth deformities and chemical issues that I have.
It makes sense.
They're not making good decisions.
I'm not questioning any of this behavior after where we started this conversation.
Some dude tried to do a backflip. Never has done a backflip before in his life.
Did he break his neck?
No, he landed square on his head, and he does have something with his head, but it's not because of that. That was before. Calcium buildup is my guess.
That's oh man, that's
yeah. But my dad gets home, sees all the fucking destruction, and he's just like, well, I hated that lawn furniture everywhere. Anyways, it just goes, it doesn't give a shit. Just goes about his day.
Well, was your dad, so did he kind of know from the sound of it, and forgive me if I'm like assuming too much, but was your dad like, okay, so his mom's a little kooky, this kid, I just need to be cool. Was he like cool dad kind of thing?
He was like a latchkey dad. Yeah, he's always been a super cool dad. I drink, like, I started drinking when I was 18, and I started drinking with my dad at 19.
Oh, nice.
One of the times me and my dad have a drink, Miller Lite and Fireballs, not combined, but shots of Miller Lite, shots of Fireballs.
Why? He made more money than to do this.
No, he was poor. All it was going to alimony.
I know, but still.
It sucks, doesn't it? Divorces take like 65% of your income for the rest of your fucking life.
I know. That is why I will not get married ever. And I'm cutting off my balls soon.
It's called a vasectomy.
I don't care what it's called, even if it's cutting off my balls.
Yeah, no, he was super cool. He was, so I got hammered with him, and he had a golf cart. And he would always drive. So me, my best friend who's dead now, and him were driving in a golf cart, and he would get as close as he could to the polluted ass river with the golf cart, slam on the brakes, turn the wheel, and yell car wash, trying to flip us off into the fucking disgusting river it was in October, I think, trying to straight up kill us.
No, he's trying to toughen your immune system.
Yeah, really.
I love that everyone I like has a golf cart story. Me and my friend, when we were 12 and 13, would break into the Jewish Community Center in Houston.
The Jewish community.
Well, we were members of it.
Hey, if you're from Palestine, that's a hate crime.
Probably. They were giving me a free pass, I think.
You had a K-word pass?
It's in Houston, so my friend wasn't Jewish, but him and his brother went there to work out and play around and shit. Like the Jewish Community Center, this is in Texas.
It's just a community.
So it's just a community center
there's one Jewish guy
that some Hebrews attend every once in a while. And yeah, they made it really easy, and we would break in on weekends and do bumper cars with the golf carts and in the baseball fields. And we had to stop after a couple weeks when I knocked the battery out of one of the golf carts in front of me, and then ran it over with my golf cart, and it ripped off the back axle.
So a battery's out, an axle is, and an axle isn't something you could just toss back in. And nobody knows.
For a second, I was like, "Do you think we could fix it?"
No, a mechanic couldn't fix it.
For a second, I was like, "I know remote control cars."
Fun fact: remote control cars don't have axles.
No, right? I didn't. What I didn't understand was my current was the golf cart.
That is so fucking
And
wrong.
yeah, they started locking those up. But literally every single person I've met that I've kind of hit it off with right off the bat has at some point told me a fucking up with golf cart story.
They're out there.
I think it's just part of like recklessness or something.
We did donuts around a baseball diamond. So running the thing, blackout drunk. And then the next day we take the golf cart out to survey the damage that we did, and a cop pulls us over, and he's like, "You guys know anything about fucking all these donut marks from golf carts around here?" As we're on a golf cart.
Yeah.
And my dad's just like, "Nope," and then leaves.
What's so great?
What are you gonna do?
He revs off in a golf cart, so it's like, "Nope."
It's electric. Very slow.
Yeah. No, it's
very quiet.
But with the emphasis of like a Dodge Charger.
My
like,
dad
fuck
also.
you.
My dad is always getting things that don't work, repairing them, and then we use them for fun for like 3 to 4 months. And then when the summer ends, we sell the I think he does it over the winter, and then we fuck with them during the fall, and then when the summer comes around, we sell them because that's when they're the highest price for like jet skis and motocross bikes, and
that's awesome.
Three-wheelers for a while. Yeah, so that was like a side hustle that he always did. So we had a lot of fun on those, but that's where my cocaine jet ski story comes from. I picked up a friend who was visiting from out of town. He was coming in from Colorado with my best friend, and we had just picked up coke, and we had the jet ski like in the water at the time. So my friend was coming in from Colorado. We pick him up from the train.
You know what goes great with cocaine? Bunch of water.
And jet skis. Yeah. So we pick him up from the train, and we're like, "Hey dude, you want to go do cocaine on a jet ski?" And he's like, "Sure, man. Let's go do cocaine on a jet ski. Will there be strippers there and money?" And we're like, "Okay, let's go do cocaine on a jet ski." He's like, "What? I can't tell if you're fucking with me." I was like, "No, let's go do cocaine on a jet ski." So we go find out that it's impossible to do cocaine on a jet ski, in case you didn't know.
It didn't seem feasible.
It is
It
not
really
possible.
did not.
We tried for a good 15 minutes before we pulled it in the dock, did cocaine on a dock, and then got on a jet ski.
Was it? So I've never done cocaine on a jet ski, but was it? I imagine the wind plus the bounciness of it, right? Or what was the impediment?
No, it was awesome. Just
doing coke on a jet ski.
So if you're driving, your hands are on the jet ski. You can't.
Well,
there's wind.
Why would you try it while you were driving?
Because when you're not moving is when jet skis flip. So jet skis, if jet skis are stationary, they're the easiest thing to flip in the world.
Right.
But if you gas it, then they're really, really hard to flip. So you have to maneuver to do cocaine. You don't like have the cocaine ready and available.
So this is just a thing that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. So like we had the bag sealed, and we were literally doing practice runs with a key. We were like, all right, the bag is sealed, and it was in a double Ziploc bag, because you don't want to get your cocaine wet.
No.
Especially with the river water near us. It'll be super AIDS cocaine.
Fucking Chernobyl coke.
Yeah, really. You'll see demons. So we had the tiny drug bag inside of another Ziploc bag, and we were like, okay, now pull out the keys, pull out the bag, and then pretend to do a bump, and we'll see it work. And the farthest we got was pull out the keys, pull out the bag, before it either almost flipped or it did flip. There was several times where we were happy that the cocaine bag floated.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
Yeah.
That was after one time. First of all, I don't think so. This is my problem, and it sucks that my first name is Sharif, because my friends in college called me the sheriff for both reasons. A, that my first name is Sharif, but B, also that in those situations, I would not have allowed you to do that.
Why?
First of all, if my money is in that cocaine bag at all, that is on dry land exclusively. You guys do whatever the fuck you want on your jet skis. That's fine. Do coke, then go out on the jet ski. Drown. I don't care. The coke stays at all times away from water. Its arch nemesis is water.
You know how sad you would be?
Trust a 5-cent seal on a fucking dime bag?
No, we double bagged it.
I don't care. But that's like, I'm like the worst buzzkill in those moments where I'm like, just like, no, this doesn't make sense.
It wasn't all the cocaine also. That was like we took like a quarter G out of it.
Okay. But
we thought it through.
You did not think it through. You thought it through.
No, because we ended up on the dock. And we fucking
I like how it's like, no, we thought about this ridiculous series of decisions methodically.
Have you seen
we practiced.
Have you seen the gif of the raccoon trying to wash cotton candy?
No, but I'm gonna have to.
He washes cotton candy and it just disintegrates in the water because it's cotton candy. Yeah. He just gets super sad.
Oh.
That would have been us with cocaine.
Yeah. Well. Origin story time. So it was my last New Year's in Chicago before going to law school. I had started New Year's at a friend of mine's house my friend Scott, who had he was in the restaurant business, so he would cook a bunch of shit. They would have giant parties, kind of a crazy amount of coke and drinking all night.
How do you cook and do cocaine?
I don't know.
Those don't mix.
I actually don't know, but he was like a great host during those parties. He was really involved with like schmoozing.
Yeah, there was always
cooking
extra
in the kitchen
food.
And shit. Dude, the food spreads were ridiculous. And he would have kind of like classic Chicago food, and then he would have chitlins and stuff like that. Like it was
nice.
He did everything. It was a great party, and then, like around 10 o'clock, we start doing coke, and then we just go.
Okay, so the food's for... Okay,
yeah,
I thought it was same time.
No, well, I mean, there's like a
cocaine
little bit...
next to a pig roast.
I did smoke a coke cigarette while there was still light time outside, so...
That's crack, right? How's that?
So it's not crack, but I think it's essentially crack.
Really close. Just so we're clear.
Hey, you put it on the cigarette, and you just...
How was it? Was it...
I didn't feel more... I just felt essentially more coked out.
So you were already doing cocaine when you put cocaine on the cigarette?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like that's a singular experience.
I should have. I wasn't. This was also. It was one of the first times I had done coke. I think it was the second time I had done coke.
It's the best time.
Wasn't quite to pro level yet.
Yeah.
And so we just had too much fun. And the next, it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. We're all banged up at Scott's place. Like, we need to get some greasy food or something, and we were like, or we could get more coke.
That is the bad part about cocaine. Is
yeah.
There's no such thing as having leftover cocaine.
No.
They don't make cocaine doggy bags.
Finished it all and felt like garbage, and the only solution was more cowbell. And so we took it back to my place because he had to do work, and we decided that we were going to have a very adult. We were like, look, we're adults now. If we're going to do this kind of stuff, we should be professional about it. So what we're going to do, we're not going to go coked out, go crazy or anything. We're going to get some cards. We're going to get some wine. We're going to just play some poker and blackjack like adults, do some lines.
It sounds fun, actually. It sounds like a really good time.
I had and my dinner table had a lazy boy thing in the middle.
For cocaine?
That's where we had the coke. And but at one point, my dumbass fucking hits my wine glass over. It spills. It's my entire pile of cocaine. And I have the little sad raccoon guy because I see the white just go. It doesn't even. I don't even see clumps in the wine. It just goes. And thankfully there was the lazy boy ridge, so the wine started flowing down there, so I was also seeing the wine spider out to my friend's coke, and I was like, no, it was about to ruin, and everyone panicked, but we managed to stop it. I got a straw and I just sucked up all the coke.
So you did a gram in 2 seconds, but in your gut too, which is weird.
It was with a $12 bottle of Malbec. So.
That'd be a weird night after that.
Yeah, it was actually kind of great because then everyone shared a little bit of their coke with me, and it was
socialism for cocaine.
It was kind of nice and I also didn't expect that. I expected them to be like, "That's your dumbass fault."
Good friends.
So yeah, that was my.
That's a good one to end it on.
What are your plugs?
It's Just Bits podcast. It's on everything: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. If you want to check out our merch, our live shows, anything like that, link bit.ly/it's just bits. I hate that fucking link.
You have a show coming up for the podcast, right?
Yes,
a live
show, April 23rd. It's a Friday. Limited seating, 30 tickets available. Get on your tickets now. We're gonna sell this fucking thing out, so I'd get it as soon as possible if you wanted to come. I'm coming to Brain Drain the 13th, by the way. I can't make it the first week, but I'll make it the second one.
Lovely.
Cool. He has a live show called Brain Drain.
I have a live show called Brain Drain. Our first one's on May 6th. It is weekly Thursdays at 10 p.m. at Lincoln Lodge. Well, I seriously doubt you made it all the way through the show, but if you did, I fucking love you. Thank you for listening to Andre Rotz's Brain. One more time, that was Connor Ford. You can find him at Connor Ford Comedy. Also, his podcast, It's Just Bits, on Spotify and pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts. Of course, you know this one. If you haven't followed us on Instagram, why the fuck haven't you? It's Andre Rotz's Brain. Simple as that. You can spell, you got here. Give it a follow on Spotify. Tell your friends. Give us a like or review on iTunes. Anything to help out so that I can stop saying all this annoying shit at the end of an episode. Stay tuned for more. That was fun. Love you all.
My dad's house briefly burned down. The house I grew up in. Briefly burned down.
The whole thing burned down?
A good portion of it.
And it burned...
I'd say a quarter.
When you say briefly, like they rebuilt it quickly?
My dad took the insurance check and rebuilt it himself. He's a carpenter.